when you're not supposed to be somewhere, life, you will meet things that are so awful, it forces you to leave. It forces you to grow, it forces you to change. And this happened to me whenever I started working for Habitat for Humanity. It was the worst job I've ever had in my life, and that is saying something. The management they had there was yelling, unprofessional. They wouldn't train me, and then they wouldn't let me talk to anybody else to train me. So I had to go back and look through past files to learn how to do my job. I was the only person in my department after they fired my boss for working 2 jobs and illegally getting applications for home mortgages through her second job at Wells Fargo. So for months I was by myself. Upper leader management would come to me and say, "What's going on? Why do these numbers all don't add up?" We had hundreds and hundreds of applications, boxes of papers, financial documents, and not secure, just left out in the open, people's bank statements, all kinds of stuff. People were applying for their critical home repair program, and they were desolate and desperate. And they would call every day, and nobody would call them back. So whenever I started, I fixed all of it. I created a whole program, and it started to work. And then they hired a supervisor, and she was horrible. She would constantly question my medical status, which is illegal. She would constantly bully me, and it would just go on and on and on. And finally, I had enough. I told them that I would give them 30 days, and then after that, I was going to leave. After 2 weeks, and this woman, like, she would stalk me on social media. It shows you who views your profile, and she would stalk me on social media. They would allow everybody else to work from home, but they wouldn't allow me to, and they would never give me a reason. It was discriminatory. Their policy was allowing 2 days work from home after COVID. So I don't take things lying down. I went to HR every time. And they did not even have a program in place for disability accommodations. I had to request it over and over and over again. And it's a violation of the ADA Act because at the time I was still diabetic, and that's listed as a disability. And I had all these other medical issues that required me, a doctor's note, to stay at home for the 2 days. Even though that was their policy, they would not allow it. So finally, when I did get to work from home, this woman was constantly badgering me, constantly monitoring me. It was awful. And I gave them a month's notice to be nice. They were so busy, and I wanted them to be able to function without me. But after 2 weeks, they were like, "No, we're going to let you go early. We're not terminating you. We're just releasing you early," which is also illegal. And I left there livid, incensed. I wrote all about it, gave them the review of the century. I went to lawyers. I turned them into every single government body that oversaw their jobs. And nobody would touch them with the attorneys because it was Habitat for Humanity, and that probably wouldn't go over well in court. So I warned everybody as much as I could with a review. I took my power back and I left. And I started to heal. I started to do the work. And this is where I am 2 years later. I have a community. I have my own business. I'm doing fantastic. I have connection. I have love. And this is where I'm supposed to be. And I learned so much working there. Not just about people and standing up for myself, but also how to work a financial nonprofit correctly, because they were so dysfunctional that my cell phone would get cut off because they wouldn't pay the bill. We had to do activities and the credit card was canceled because they didn't pay the bill. all their accounts with Lowe's and Home Depot would get canceled because they didn't pay their bills. And they got $13 million from Mackenzie Scott. Still was happening. So a lot of corruption there. Corruption is everywhere, not just where you can see it in government. It happens in nonprofits as well. And when you finally get on track, you can look back and see how all of it was for purpose and how all of it was there to teach you something. And I created that situation for myself so that I could rise, so that I could learn, so that I could get strong and bounce and start creating something for myself. So if you are struggling in a position and things are going wrong, it's because you're not supposed to be there and you need to remove yourself. Start working on that. Don't let anyone treat you less than. Move on and start your own thing. Do whatever it is that excites you, because that's the only thing that's worth it. Time is the most precious commodity because it's never going to come back. So don't waste it with bad bosses, with bad jobs, with any of it. Walk away and do your own thing, because you will be so much better off for it. I'm disease-free, I'm medication-free, and it's all because I did the work on me. I'm a poet and I didn't know it.